What is up? What is up? YouTube, how y'all doing? Check it out, man. A little under weather. I'm on a water diet. P. Diddy and Ashton Kutcher. What? Dude, exposed. P. Diddy and Ashton Kutcher is exposed by the Bodyguard, man. What's up, Big Gene? He tells it all. Y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. The Bodyguard tells it all. Let's just get into this video, man. Here we go. Check it out. Check it out.
Good to see you.
Yeah, it seemed like you like New York, huh?
Yeah, man, I just like the views, brother. You bring views.
You bring views. You bring views.
I thought you like me.
I mean,
nah, yo, as long as you bring the views, I'm here with you. All right, man.
I'll be friends with anybody if they bring the views.
Bring the views. Most
New York,
definitely.
I love. It's becoming.
Shout out to Gene.
Yeah, it's becoming a great place. I love the people. I love the vibe. I've said that many times. London used to have that sort of similar feel, but it's kind of went upside down. New York feels safe. Like, I've got my family here. We're Central Park. Everything just feels good. Right. Great guests. People make you feel welcome. Right. There's not much. People try to tear you down. There's people in the UK who are good also, but it's just, there's a weird, there seems like, I don't even know if it's a bit far-fetched, but it seems there could be a civil war possibly could happen in the UK. That's how bad it's getting.
Well, I think that it was a lot safer before they let the migrants come over here like they're doing. You know, you're finding things that happen in Times Square that basically never really happened to the level in which it happens. You know, people attacking police officers, that never happened in Times Square before, you know. The people, they don't have a certain amount of respect because they don't know. And it's where they came from too. You got to understand, they came from a place that, you know, they were deprived of a lot of stuff. And now they see it's over here. And they feel like that the police and the people ain't going to know who they are if they commit the crimes and do the crimes. But Big Brother is watching all over New York City. So that's why they're catching a lot of them doing crimes.
Is it the illegal immigrant sort of things? Like I say, I'm no problems with anybody want a better life, but when you're coming to places with different cultures, different beliefs, and you're not having background checks, you're not having your criminal record checked,
right?
Something just don't sit right, and it can cause a lot of unrest, and people won't stand for it, because I know the people in the UK won't stand for it, and now I especially know people in America won't stand for it. But what's your whole opinion actually on illegal immigrants? What do you think of it? Because America thinks they're one of the biggest in the world, like 40 million people or 50 million different people, you know, crossing the borders.
This was what we call a melting pot, but what it is that the culture and the history is so messed up that people don't know the truth, that most of the people that are people of color are indigenous to this land, and people don't know that, you know. So when they do bring people that are migrants in here, and the people that are indigenous to this land and the people that are, who has been here, working class people or whatever, and they start giving them things that the people that think that they deserve because they've been here, they have built America, it brings a big problem, you know, for the people in the society at whole. Because here it is that under the administration that we have right now, they're giving them debit cards with $9,000, anywhere from $3,000 to $9,000 a month on it, you know, helping them get permanent housing when the people who was already here, that was in shelter programs, don't have permanent housing. You understand? So, you know, you should always take care of your own first before you allow people to come in and take care of them.
I had you on about 7-8 months ago talking about the Diddy stuff. It was important. You've always spoke about it, been very outspoken for the last few years. A lot of people might have tried to discredit you or said that you were lying. Now it's all came to the top. Now it's all, he's been charged for some heinous crimes of rape, drugging people, being with minors. Like, it has got serious now. You're talking over 100 now. Different people have come forward and really fucking sticking the nail into him. And yeah, We've got a lot of that stuff to touch on, but first of all, your new book, which is just released. Can you promote that straight away for people who want to have a look at it?
Yeah, the new book is Gene Deal, Life After Death When Bodyguard and a Hip Hop Star. I go in deep on the night that Big died and my experience and what I was going through. I talk about some rappers that were legends in the game that lost their life also early. And I do a tribute to one of my favorite groups, which is the Bee Gees, and a tribute to the Notorious Big in that book. A lot of people who have read it, and I'm going to move my hand out the way so somebody else could pat me on the back. They said that once they start reading it, they can't put it down. You know, they said it was a good read, it was entertaining and insightful on a lot of things that were happening in hip hop.
Because you've lived that life and you've been involved with some of the biggest names on the planet, especially Biggie, Tupac, even Diddy. And as much as Diddy's going through all the stuff he's going through, listen, if he offered me to go to a party 2 years ago, I'm going to go, because it's in your mind, you're thinking it can elevate you, the surroundings of that people. But the more as you get older and the people that I interview, you didn't realise how dark this industry is. And it's not just Diddy. This list is long, and hopefully it will shed more light on these bigger names. But it's just so messy with all these names. And like I say, you've lived it firsthand, even that night with Biggie, because I remember the first podcast, it says that you were in the car and someone says, drive, drive, drive. And then someone came out and then shot Biggie and you had to drive round and Biggie died in your arms. Like, will you ever go over that experience?
Well, you never go over any experience that you have, but when an experience is detrimental, when somebody loses their life, it haunts you for the rest of your life. And I couldn't find peace in my life until recently, when two individuals who had never spoke on the situation before came out and spoke, and it relieved me of some of the anguish that I had in my heart about what happened that night. And that was Unresolved and DJ 𝗗𝗢𝗡𝗞𝗦. He just lost his life to cancer last week. Unresolved came out and said that he had told Notorious Big to stay in the room. He had also sent two porn stars to the room to try to convince him to stay in the room. And he was sending Janet Jackme and he said Heather Hunter over to Big's room, because Big was supposed to go to London that next day. So now that's his business partner, his manager, his main dude. And then you had a DJ named 𝗗𝗢𝗡𝗞𝗦, who was at the time probably the vice president of Motown Records. And he was working his way up in the industry. He had did a lot of music for Jay-Z, a lot of different forms, named DJ 𝗗𝗢𝗡𝗞𝗦. I knew 𝗗𝗢𝗡 from the club scene. He came out on another podcast show and he said, I was in the room with Notorious Big that night before he died. And I asked him what he was going to do for the rest of the night. And the Notorious Big told him that I'm going to a party that Puff Daddy and D-Rock, his friend, set up for him to go. Now, he told Notorious Big not to go. This was DJ 𝗗𝗢𝗡𝗞𝗦, like, yo, what are you going there for, bro? You don't need to go there. But he went anyway. I thought that I could have said something to Big all that time. All that time has surpassed from 97 to 2003. I thought I could have said something to Big to stop him from going to that party, or I didn't say enough to stop him from going to that party. And knowing that those two people that was real close to him had said something to him not to go to the party, and he still went. It was either destiny or I knew then it's nothing that I could have done, said. If I would have jumped in front of the truck, they would have ran over me to get to that party. You understand? So it relinquished a lot of pain that I had in my heart, thinking that I could have done something to stop that kid from going to that party.
Because as time goes on, back then when you think it's all bad boys and they're all players and girls, and obviously, listen, Tupac, who I love, for me, Eminem and then Tupac, and I don't want to ruffle feathers with people, but when you see videos of Tupac when he's doing his acting, he seems very feminine also, when he's talking about, I think he was doing the arts and acting, the same as Biggie, because I didn't know with Biggie's Juicy video, the girl he was with was a transgender girl, is that correct?
I don't think so.
So why is that rumours? Why is that kicking about now then?
Well, I don't really, I can't say that I know for sure, but I don't believe it. They were having that rumor way back then. That's because they did a skit where she went into the toilet with two men and it looked like she was using the bathroom standing up at the urinal. So I don't know why they did that or how they did that, but I've heard that the young lady is still alive, and I thought that she died, or I thought she was killed by her boyfriend or something like that, or a guy who thought that she was a girl and ended up killing her. That was a rumor too. I don't know for sure, but I'm hearing that she's very much alive and she's on Instagram and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, I'll need to reach out then, because there was now rumours that there was she was transgender. It was Puffy who brought her, but she was also in an LL Cool J video. But again, so like I say, if she's transgender or not, no one fucking cares. But there's videos now of when Biggie is touching Puffy's face, and it just seems all a bit gay. Could there have been more to them, a business ship? Could they have been in a relationship, or is that just too far-fetched?
I'm just saying, Notorious Big never gave me any indication that he could have been bisexual or into men. Not at all. Not at all. Puff, on the other hand, yeah. And that's because of, if two men and two women go in a room together and you trading your girl with somebody else's girl and all this other stuff like that, which is maybe called the rock and roll lifestyle. I don't even, I don't indulge in that. I think that he had gay radar or something like that. So gaydar.
He had that since he was born,
but not the Notorious Big. No one can even make me believe that about the Notorious Big.
Yeah. It's just now we're living in a society where people want to create conspiracy theories. People want to then bring others down. The same as, because that video I seen when Puffy was rubbing his face and he was like, yeah, your hands are so soft. And then with the Tupac video, but again, it doesn't really matter. It's just the way how...
If it don't matter, why are you speaking on it, bro?
It's just because I try to figure out the answers. Is it all fake? That they're living this fucking fake image and they're really all these fruity men just fucking each other.
But see, you got to realize too, now, when we was growing up, like you do a good job playing basketball, a motherfucker, somebody will pat you on the ass. You like, now you play ball and somebody pat you on the ass, you like, my man. Watch your hand, man. What's wrong with you, man?
You're charged with sexual assault. You'll be done for fucking human trafficking. Yeah. I understand that. It has all changed days. When I used to play football, kiss people in the cheek and like you do, slap in the ass, fucking great goal. But nowadays everything has changed. The things you get away with 20 years ago, you can't now. And even with the Diddy parties, the majority of people would have been loving to go there. Everybody would want to be part of it. They wanted the limelight, other celebrities. And listen, as well, we understand now when accusations come, people are going to create false accusations as well because they want a piece of that limelight. But when Diddy was at the prime, everybody wanted to be his friend. And there was a time he probably did feel as if he was untouchable. Obviously, the house of cards have crumbled. What about Diddy's mum? Because again, there's rumours coming out that she was a prostitute. She used to be an escort, and Diddy used to watch her having sex as well. Did you ever come across his mum?
Well, from what I've heard, and this is what I've heard because she's much older than me, and I spoke to a few old timers. Shout out to Mr. Roberts down in Atlanta. He used to be a dude that used to be out in he's still alive and everything. He used to be a guy who used to be around that whole scene. And from my knowledge in speaking with other people too, his mother was not a prostitute. You know what I'm saying? His mother was what you probably would be called a madam, in which that she had girls that worked as in a makeshift modeling agency, that she probably would get paid for them setting up dates with some of the hustlers, some of the athletes, and the whole 9 yards. She, as far as I know, and they was telling me, that she did not partake in those things as such as the girls who was hired by her to work the men that the parties that she used to give on the weekends.
Yeah, because there's videos of Puffy kissing his mum in the lips and stuff, and it just, yeah, listen, it just seems a bit fucking strange for me. But again, it's all rumours, and that's why it's just to ask the questions to get a rough understanding, because there's obviously videos now that she was a prostitute and she used to get Puffy to watch. And Puffy's dad, was he a gangster? How true is that? He got killed, is that correct?
Melvin Combs was in the business with some other guys. He had just got in the business with, everybody think it was Frank Lucas, but he wasn't working with Frank Lucas. He was working with New York Freddie, who was an extension to Nicky Barnes. Nicky Barnes was the one who was on, the first black man I think was on the New York Times, you know.
Was that him that was doing the heroin?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
So that was Nicky Barnes. He played, in the American Gangster, he played a rival of Frank Lucas and stuff like that. But Nicky Barnes was the individual that he worked for under the umbrella of New York Freddie. And somebody had just brought him into the business. He had been doing some business, because you got to realize, back in those days, it was all about image and what people perceive. Puff father was driving a cab. You understand? When he went. I don't know why. That's what gets me. Was it just him trying to act as if he
a normal citizen?
Yeah, a normal citizen, because all the other gangsters, they didn't. You know, they paid the police off, you know what I'm saying, and did their thing. He had got caught in a situation, whereas that he has sold, or he was set up to sell to an undercover, and which he did. And the undercover was a police officer that actually worked for New York Freddie and the gangsters now. And he turned over them, and meaning he turned them over is that he gave the police officer a written statement and a tape confession of who he was working for and everything.
Did you ever think it would come to this, that Diddy would actually be charged?
Oh, yeah.
Did you believe it would?
When they went in his house, I knew he was going to get charged. They don't, listen to me, it was Homeland Security. It wasn't the regular Miami-Dade or LAPD or New York PD. It was the federal government. It was a task force. It made the news. Every channel was shut down and was on his house. The federal government here in America, as plus the Southern District of New York, do not bring that type of attention to a celebrity or anybody unless they have charges against them.
See, at his parties, was he recording in every room? Was he recording people's sex? And was he recording everything? Or how far-fetched is it that he had videos of everyone?
Well, I'm just saying, if they recovered over 250 cameras, whoa, he had recordings of everything and everywhere. You know, I don't think is no house that big that you need 250 cameras. You know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. But as far as I got the same knowledge that everybody else have regarding that, the taping and the filming and everything like that. So it's not far-fetched at all if the federal government has seized that information.
A lot of people now will be running for the hills. A lot of people will turn against him. Same as the Epstein stuff, when they says there was recordings and they had everyone. But the only thing is, whether they not show the recordings, but release the names who were involved. Now, I've no issues with people having parties and having orgies and taking drugs and drinking. I don't give a fuck for that. It's when the fact that they're saying people were drugged, people were groomed, kids possibly groomed. You see the video of Justin Bieber at 14 and how uncomfortable he made him feel, saying you're staying with Uncle Puff for 48 hours. Like, it's just, that's not a normal way for a man to act around children.
But brother, let me ask you something. Before all this happened and came to fruition, the people knew that. That wasn't the first, the government, the people in the music business, the government especially. Did you know that in 2011, the government went to a main gangster in New York City who was under investigation for drug trafficking and possibly murder and everything like that, and said, we'll give you the queen for the day. We'll give you a proffer agreement if you tell us about Sean Combs having sex with underage boys. This is an individual that was in the music industry, in the movie industry, and everything. They had arrested him and was bringing him up on charges, but was going to let him go or give him a lighter sentence if he would have told that information. And that was 2011. So they knew. So you think they're going to let that go? They're going to keep him under investigation. They're going to keep him getting stuff on him, knowledge on him of what he do and how he do, the way he move. And then when the time is right, and the people don't want to deal with him no more, then they're going to relinquish all that information on him. After all those other people have suffered. After all those people have suffered, now the government want to go after him. Now, I don't blame them for going after him. I'm blaming them for what took you so long when you knew all that information. It's something that 50 Cent said. So you got to listen to what people say. 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson, said he made people feel uncomfortable. The people that he was working with, he made them feel uncomfortable. So when you dissect that, that means people that he's working for, the way I articulate it, is that people that he are working for has gotten tired of his bull, and now we gonna shut him down. And that's what we're looking at right now.
How is the Justin Bieber thing? Do you think he was abused by Diddy?
Yes.
Because with those videos and how uncomfortable he was and how his head went. Listen, the entertainment industry destroys lives no matter what, but being around the wrong sort of people will make it worse, especially if you are befriended by these people and you're groomed by these people. And to normalise it, because when you watch the Usher videos, Usher saying he wouldn't have his kids at a Diddy party. Usher says that the things that he'd seen at 13 and 14 he should have never have seen. But when you're around these people, they're glorifying it. It feels normal to them. Do you feel as if these young kids could have been abused by Diddy physically at that age?
I believe that if an abuser abuses, if he was abused and became an abuser, he would abuse the kids and the people around him. So an abuser becomes an abuser. So maybe he was abused. It did that. It's up for them to tell that story. And I don't know why they don't feel like it's necessary to tell that story. See, I catch a lot of flack by talking about dudes' integrity. I catch a lot of flack about talking about this dude, Puff behavior and how he treat people and the whole 9 yards. But if I don't talk about it and let people know, he continues to get the icon of the year, of the century. He continues to get a doctrines from Howard University. He continues to get the key to the city when other people who have paid the price and earned that and deserved that should have gotten it. I catch a lot of ridicule for being the one who came out and said what I saw him do, what I heard him do, and what I checked him on some of the stuff that he did.
What about Ashton Kutcher? Because Ashton Kutcher, who I believe could possibly just as bad, Ashton Kutcher as well, listen, he's not guilty of this, but he arranged a date. He was late for that date. And when he got to the girl's house, he looked through the window. She was stabbed 47 times. The man ended up getting charged, but Ashton Kutcher was also involved with 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦. I think it's Mr. Jeffries who's just been done for trafficking. Ashton Kutcher was also friends with Brittany Murphy, who also was friends with P. Diddy, who also died the same death as 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦. Now, Ashton Kutcher as well also runs a child protection thing, I think it's called Fawn, where he's trying to save children. But we know now a lot of these people use this thing for child trafficking to actually not expose it, but to gain from their own benefit. He was also married to Demi Moore, and there was a video of Demi Moore kissing a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old boy. I just feel as if there's a lot of darkness around these people. I feel as if they feel as if they're untouchable. I genuinely think he could be next Ashton Kutcher. Am I wrong here, or could this be right?
Well, I was around Ashton Kutcher and Diddy before, and they were speaking about Brittany Murphy. And I don't think I ever told this story, and I'm about to tell this story here. While he was married to Demi Moore, he was still sneaking around seeing Brittany Murphy. You understand? We were going to a Nets game, so we picked him up, and he was explaining to Diddy that every time he goes to Brittany's house, paparazzi always catches him or almost catch him coming out her apartment or coming out the building. And Diddy was telling him that's either the doorman or your security. You know what I'm saying? And he was still married to Demi Moore at the time. So you could have something, you could be right. Because it's crazy how they said her and Kim and some other individual with them or around them all died of pneumonia, and they were in perfect health.
Yeah, it just gave me the shivers, that, because how can these two people be around the same people but die of the same death? Is it a case of the stories that are going to expose them off, they become a threat, so they kill them off? Because bad stuff happens to people. It happens to good people. But there's always death around these people. There's always murder. Like I say, with that girl, he arranged their first date. He showed up late and she was stabbed 47 times. Yes, someone was charged with it. But the 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 guy, Mr. Jeffries, charged with trafficking, setting up sex parties. Like, it's demonic. It's dark. I know people go down that conspiracy route of satanic and people drinking blood, but do you believe there is rituals with these people at these parties where there's people being sacrificed?
You can only go by what you read, what you hear, and if you see somebody have all red rooms, the first thing you're going to say is, why? If I walk in this hotel room and everything around this room, the furniture, the walls, the ceiling, everything is red, I'm gonna be backing up out of here with my gun, with my hand on my gun. That shit is gonna scare the shit out of me. Wouldn't it you?
Fucking right it would. They talking about it scares the shit out of me.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna walk in
talking
rooms.
about it.
So when you see that he had rooms that were all red with loudspeakers for the music and 1,000 bottles of baby oil, you gonna say, something ain't right. Some just ain't sitting right here. So for people who have been involved in and seen that, they should have known something was wrong, something was different. And they should have known that something is about to go down that I've probably never been involved in and went down before in my life. Just by the atmosphere. It don't look like a regular room. When I seen that on television and the guy was showing that he had like 2 big rooms of red, everything is red, and then he started wearing nothing but red. I actually thought he was possessed, man. And he's been possessed for a long time. Even at the trial from Shine. I don't know if I told you this story before. We were on our way to Shine's and Anthony Wolf Jones sentencing. You know, they was finna get, the judge was finna either sentence them or let them go. Before we went to the courts, me and Puff went to the park, Central Park. And we was walking into the middle of Central Park. And I was like, where we going? And we just walking. And we end up walking close to this is from 5th Avenue to the boathouse. And I was like, yo, that's about a mile or 2 or something like that, or close to it. But we in the park. Early in the morning, we supposed to be in court. Or on our way to court. He said, yo, Gene, stop right here. You stay right here. So he kept walking. And so I'm just looking at him. And I noticed a man in the middle of the park in the clearing by himself. And he had a box on the ground. So the man was turned with his back to me. And when he turned around, I could see that he was a priest. He had the white collar and the black suit and stuff like that. So then Puff came close and he just got on his knees. You know, Puff got on his knees and the dude had lit something and started, like, I guess it was what they call it, some kind of incense or whatever they have, start going back and forth with him like that. And then around Puff and everything like that. He put his hand on Puff and he just started, I couldn't hear anything, but I knew the gestures was as he was praying or something. So when it was all over, he put the box in front of Puff. And Puff went in there and as he started pulling something out the box, he stood up and grabbed it and threw it in the air. I could tell it was a
semen? Box of semen?
Wow.
He's always on his knees, the cunt. That would have been
But I thought it was a towel or something, like it was a bird. And the bird just fell to the ground. Boom. Like it was cement. Not semen. I know you say cement, but cement, but it was a bird. And Puff just looked at the priest and walked away from him. So as he coming towards me, I was saying this in my mind because I could be hilarious and funny with this cat all the time. We used to always joke and snap on each other, talk about each other. So as he was coming and I seen the bird just hit the ground like it was dead or something like that. As he was coming, I was saying this to myself, like Jason. Like I was saying, like, you know how that Damien, the music that was playing in my head.
Playing in my head. Wait a minute, y'all. Pause for 1 second. Pause. Zoom. Sorry, I had to take a time out. Here we go.
Like Jason. Like I was saying,
wow.
Like, you know how that Damien, the music that was playing in my head. And so when he walked past me, he didn't even look at me. He just walked past me, right? He just said, come on, Gene, let's go. And then he just walked past me. And when he walked past me, I started following him to the truck. And I was like, there go Damien. It was funny. I thought it was hilarious.
Do you think?
Then we went to the courts, and that's when he was found innocent and Sean was found guilty.
Do you think he's always been bad, or do you think the industry's created the monster? Because we know now people, when we talk about people selling their soul and become devil worshippers, it's becoming more believable every day, especially with the things out there, all the hand gestures, the demonic stuff that people do on stage. Sam Smith, prime example, young innocent kid, great music, great voice, but then starts dressed as the devil and starts music videos, he's pretending to pee on fucking people. Kids are watching this, and does fame just go to their head that they just then want to become the best and have got to do all these different deals to then sacrifice everything around them to be at the top of the tree? Do you think the industry's created this monster, or do you think the monster was already there?
Well, I don't think
Good question.
no one is born a monster. I think that the industry, music, sports, sometimes the education system, sometimes institutions from our the police, whatever, they develop monsters. And certain things that you have to do that you probably is so demonic or evil to you, and you only thought you can do it once, they probably can't go back to being who they normally was. You understand? Unless they totally get out of it. Because you got to understand is that you got the music business, and it's owned by some people who had kids, and their kids wanted ownership of it. So just say if there was like 5 or 6 major labels at one time, and their kids wanted to own a part of that label, part of the record business, they opened up their own subsidiary to them. Then they start getting people to do music for them. They are controlled by their parents. That's their generational wealth. So they have to find a way to control the people under them. So they set up systems to control the people up under them by giving them orders or making them feel that they have to do certain things. You understand? So now they got their mind because they have controlled them, because they saying that I'm going to make you do this. I'm going to make you do that. And once you do it the first time, I got you on a Diddy tape. You get it? Puff used to do that. He used to try to control people by making them do certain things with him. You understand? That they may be embarrassed or they may not want other people to know about. And he learned that from the system within.
Who was his mentors?
I think it was 𝗟𝗓𝗡𝗞𝗦, Russell Simmons. Then he got over to Clive Davis. But when Clive Davis decided he didn't want to deal with him no more, Jimmy Iovine and the people who own Universal Music.
What were these people like? Because these people are like the cream of the crop. They've worked with the biggest names on the planet for many, many years.
I could speak about 𝗟𝗓𝗡𝗞𝗦 because I knew of him and I knew people that worked for him. I knew people that were close to him. Me and his bodyguard was fraternity brothers, and we hung out all the time. I knew of some of the things Russell Simmons was doing and was around. I can't speak too much on Clive Davis other than what I've heard. Other people who worked in the office with him, they would say that he used to have Vaseline on his shoulder.
Why?
You think about that.
He used to have Vaseline on his shoulder.
On his shoulder?
It was a joke. But
Oh, okay.
Semen?
Vaseline.
A lot of semen talk. in this podcast.
I'm just saying this is what somebody said. I don't know how true it is. They say, yo, I had to get out that office, man. He said Clive Davis used to walk around with Vaseline on his shoulder. And I had to think about it. I was like, Vaseline on his shoulder, just like you did. And I was like, oh, okay, I got you.
What does it mean?
What you say that you never cared, well, nobody cares about somebody's sexual preference.
Yeah.
If he put Vaseline on his shoulder so somebody can grab it and lube him up, and that's on him.
But it just seems the whole industry now, it seems to...
Our country.
Nah, no pun intended,
Our
but it
country.
seems on its fucking knees.
Our country, brother.
I would say the West, yeah.
The way they trying to... It's not everybody. It's not everybody. But these political parties are trying to spin that to the young people in this world is saying it's all right, it's okay. It's okay and all right behind your closed doors and everything like that, but not in the...
That's crazy. It is, yeah. That is crazy. Paul, I'm trying to finish this video and you keep bothering me. Here we go, y'all.
Classroom people in this world is saying it's all right, it's okay. It's okay and all right behind your closed doors and everything like that, but not in the classroom. You understand?
Yeah, the transgender stuff.
Yeah. Not in the classrooms.
Yeah.
They trying to spin that when a guy has glaucoma and he's in the prison system and they tell him he's going to go blind if he doesn't get a surgery, they deny him to get eye surgery. But here we have somebody saying that, well, if you want to change your sex, we're going to pay for changing your sex if you're in the prison system. Get the hell out of here. That's not right.
That's crazy.
That's all the way wrong. But that's what the government and the people and society is saying. So, if it's true that he had Vaseline on his shoulder, that was his business. But that's why he had Vaseline shoulder.
What about Leonardo DiCaprio? Because we all know he likes these younger women, models, 21, 22. Listen, it's a bit creepy for a man in his 50s, but listen, fair play, he's got the money, he's wanting young girls. Listen.
You can't.
You can't.
If you're going to speak on him, you have to speak on Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
You got to speak on what's the other? Al Pacino. You know, it's Hollywood. Hollyweird. You understand what I'm saying?
Did you ever come across him at the parties?
I went to a party and it was him, and it was a party that Mr. Can't Handle the Truth and Mr. I'm gonna give all you MF shoe programs was at. And the girl that I was bodyguarding, we couldn't go I as a security person could not go past the red door. And she was telling me that they were in there doing their thing and the whole 9 yards, they were together. But they wasn't sexually together. They were just enjoying the strippers and the music and everything together. That's the only time I was around them like that.
What about Bad Boy Records logo? Because there's a baby on the logo. Does that get anything to do with anything?
Nah,
is there any meaning behind that?
Well, I just did think that it's a boy, and they were saying from birth he was bad.
Yeah.
And my friend actually did the logo. Daryl Thompson, aka D Ferg, and Mike Owens, aka Mike Session, aka Mike Cock, did the drawing. They also did the one for Uptown Records. They had a cat on there. You know what I'm saying? So Puff told him what he wanted, and they made the drawings up. So I guess it's just a symbol of just he's been bad since birth.
Yeah, still bad. What about Jay-Z and Beyonce? Because
still bad.
Listen, there seems to be a bit of pressure getting put on these people also. And with Beyonce, with people saying that if people don't apologise, they end up dead or going missing. And you see the interviews of everybody winning awards and thanking Beyonce. It is a bit strange. How connected was Jay-Z and Puffy?
Well, that was strange to me, I swear for a living God, is that Puff used to talk about bringing Jay-Z down. You understand? And he was going to use 𝗟𝗓 to do it. You understand? He used to talk about bringing Jay-Z down. I don't know what was the beef, was the problem. Because when he was with Jennifer Lopez, we all went out together one time. It was Jay-Z, Beyonce, Kelly, Michelle, Dame Dash, Jennifer Lopez, myself, and Puff. They didn't even have their own security there. They didn't even have their own security. We was in a club called Eugene's. You know what I'm saying? And him and Jaden seemed like they was close then. You know what I'm saying? But they were talking. But Puff was always talking about, it seemed like Jay owed him something. And then after I left around 2004. I started seeing that they had gotten close. And I don't know how that happened. You know, so him and, like I said, at one time we went to the next game. It was me, Puff, Ashton Kutcher, and Jay-Z. Jay-Z and Puff, they started getting close. After I knew that Puff was trying to have 𝗟𝗓 go at him, I don't think Puff let Jay-Z knew that he was trying to set 𝗟𝗓 up to go after him. You understand what I'm saying? Trying to play them both to the middle. And then they used to greet each other like, yo, how your skinny white girl? He said, yo, how your skinny white girl? And that's how they used to greet each other.
Did you see the video of Puffy with the 13-year-old, is it Davy Chase? There's a video doing the rounds now and he's saying, oh, do you want to come back to the after party? The young girl was only 13. Davy Chase, I think her name is.
Well, you got to realize is that there's a after party, right? And there's a party to the after party. So which after party was he asking them? She shouldn't be asking him at any party for anyway because she's 13 years old. You understand? She shouldn't be going to no damn party. She should take her ass, go home and get your arithmetic book or your math book or your science book and read it for school tomorrow. She shouldn't be going to no party like that anyway, whether it's an after party or after party. But that's how they raise. That's how they grow up.
Yeah, it was creepy, that video. What about the 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 video when it sounds as if he's getting the fucking ass blasted off him? What is going
Man, come on, you AI in it.
Like, is that them? Is that Puff and him?
I can't say that. I don't know that to be true.
Because the video sounds legit.
That's that AI shit. You know, the internet. The internet does not lose, brother.
Mm-hmm.
The internet wins again because they have the real looking fake and the fake looking real. That's the internet.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Matrix.
Yep, that's the Matrix.
That's what we in right now, brother. We gotta watch ourselves. If you're gonna tell the truth, tell the whole truth. So it don't go back and bite you in your ASS.
Yeah, so this is a problem we've got, man. That's how I like interviewing people, because it gives you a fair understanding of people who have lived it. Because obviously that recording of it's quite creepy, and then 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦's a photo in a swimming pool with basically looking if he's fucking cooling off his ass, man. Like you're thinking, listen, but by all means, who cares? But it's just how messy it's all got, and I think it.
Wait a minute, man. Yes, he in the pool look like he cooling off. He trying to see if he killing off. He cooling off his ass. Yeah, that's what I got out of it. He looked like he was really cooling off his ass. It looked like he couldn't move, boy. His hips couldn't move, because he was putting in work. He was putting in work, homeboy, playboy. That's how Puffy said, playboy. That's crazy, man.
His ass, man. Like, you know, people who have lived it, because obviously that recording of it's quite creepy, and then 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦's a photo in a swimming pool with basically looking if he's fucking cooling off his ass, man. Like you're thinking, listen, but by all means, who cares? But it's just how messy it's all got, and I think it's still going to get worse with everything that's going to come out. I don't think Diddy will make it to court. I think potentially could be suicide, Epstein kind of thing with him because of the names that he's involved with.
Well, I believe that if people who are extremely powerful know they have partaken in any kind of action that could mess their brand, their family, their legacy up, they might do it or may have somebody else to do it or may have somebody to do it. They may be looking for a way to have it done. You understand? But I don't believe that he believes that he can't beat it.
What about the secret tunnels? Now that everybody's talking about, apparently they were going to the Playboy Mansion and connected to Hugh Hefner. Is there any truth in these?
They say it is. But you got to realize this, if it's connected to the Playboy Mansion, these people been doing this stuff for years, for a long time. You got to realize is that they're going to do that because they don't want to be known that they going to the Playboy Mansion. So if you got people that are building tunnels from Mexico to Texas to smuggle drugs, why is it far-fetched to believe that people have built tunnels to other people's houses to indulge in crazy sex activities? Like there's one girl that came out about Hugh Hefner and said that only thing that was different between Hugh Hefner and Diddy is that he didn't have underage girls that we know of. That we didn't have underage girls. And I don't think, they said that he did have underage girls and stuff like that. But if you notice, if she said there's no difference, so then you saying that Hugh Hefner may have been into some kind of ritualistic shit, or Hugh Hefner may have been into some kind of baby oil stuff, then Hugh Hefner may have been, some kind of drugging people to do things. If you say there was no difference, and this is somebody who was there who had came out. You understand? So we have to look at it that those tunnels and everything are real. They real. They there. But why?
What about the baby oil? And someone says it could have been laced with GBH. Is that correct? Or was it just baby oil?
If it was just baby oil, did you hear what the prosecutor said?
No.
We took 1,000 bottles of what appeared to be baby oil.
What appeared to be baby oil?
That was the key right there. To me. Because if it was a baby oil, that means they tested it and it said it was baby oil. And he wouldn't have a problem. But let me ask you this. Have you ever seen a massage parlor raided?
No.
You know what a massage parlor is?
Yeah.
Right. You never seen a raid where the police go in there and take the men out, take the women out, or something like that, and lock them up for prostitution and everything?
Yeah, I've seen it on the papers, but I've never seen them come out with baby oil.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Spot on then. So they've took the baby oil for a reason then.
Thank you.
Yeah. Makes sense. Well done. I was thinking, fucking makes sense.
Makes
because
sense.
it shows you them carrying out the baby oil for a reason. Yeah.
Why? They did 1 or 2 tests. But see, it's not only the tests. You got to realize Jonathan Odie, right? You know who that is?
No.
Jonathan Odie was the guy who came out, and he's on the federal witness, he's been prosecuted by the feds because he shot up, I think, one of Donald Trump's offices or something like that. But he gave them this story that they thought that was real weird. And it was about P. Diddy and Cassie and they freak-off parties. I'm surprised you ain't hear about that.
No.
Yo, man, that's a whole show within itself. But we're going to get into it. Jonathan Odie told the federal government that he was doing freak-off parties with Puff and Cassie, and he contracted, allegedly, herpes. He also was paid off. They showed where he was paid millions of dollars. He bought property with this money in the whole 9 yards. And he said that they were having liquid cocoa in these bottles being shipped by P. Diddy and Rick Ross. So if you believe what he's saying, you understand that he was freaking off with them and stuff like that. And he also said something about the oils and stuff. So now you have his testimony to the federal government. This was over probably 5 to 7 years ago. And they I guess they believed him to the extent where they put it in motion. Then you have Cassie. Cassie knows what's in those bottles because it was used on her.
Yeah. Yeah.
When they went in there, they knew what they was looking for, brother. I thought that the guy who was arrested at the plane, the white guy who said they were the runner for them, I thought that he was probably be the one that tell them some stuff too. Because I thought that he was probably working for them from the get-go, because how would they know to arrest him the same day they do the raid and he was getting on a plane going somewhere? You know?
Yeah, I've seen the photo of that kid, the white kid.
Right. So now, knowing all this, Jonathan Odie told them what was going on, Cassie told them what's going on, and the white kid told them what's going on. They knew they was going in there to get those bottles.
Evidence. What about Uncle Ron? What happened to him? Who's he?
That's what
I
I
don't
want to
know
know.
him from a can of paint, bro. You know, they said he was one of Diddy's bodyguards. I don't know him. You know, like I just told you, and I tell people all the time, he had about 6 to 8 bodyguards. You know what I'm saying?
But
6 to 8 bodyguards at
Jay-Z
any given
bodyguard.
time. They were given to him by Green Gate Security. He didn't handle none of that. He gave his friend money to get a security company, and his friend used to hire correction officers and NYPD officers, and also like people like myself. But I wasn't under his friend's contract. I had my own contract with him.
Because people were saying, because he died last month, this Uncle
Yeah, I
Ron
heard.
kind of guy. Never heard of him either. Just I know he done some interviews and says it was his bodyguard. But with that, see when Diddy was around you, see if he's videoing people and he's this mastermind of corrupting people's minds and having one over them all the time to kind of have them in his grips. Was he never wary of his bodyguards either? His security, of what they could see, what they could find. Did they never try and have information on everyone just in case the shit hits the fan and tries to expose them? Because he always seems to try and be 2 steps ahead of everyone. But for someone to be that manipulative and scheming, it looks as if he tried to have something over everyone. Were you not wary of...
You never look at the people that have less than you. And that's crazy.
Did he look down at people?
Oh, no doubt. You never
No
look
doubt.
at the people that have less than you. You always look to get the people that have equal amount of you or more than you, or they could be at your position. He probably had no right to think that not doing right by his security at that time, you know, was going to cause somebody in his security to go lamb with him. But he knows why me and him have a beef. He knows why I came after him. You understand? So he never came after me because he knows why me and him have a problem with each other. And it has something to do with you lied about the big situation to Big's mama and the world. You made me look a certain way. You understand? You talked to Wolf Mama in a certain way that you should have never ever talked to her. You know what you didn't do for my friend D. Ferg. Our friend. The people that brought you into the same gang. The people that helped you when you were down and out. You didn't do the right thing. You had your people tell my job shit that I had to fight for my job for years and years and years. All this bad boy shit would always come up. No matter what I could do. You could say or somebody could come and say, I kicked a turtle. They say, yo, Gene Deal kicked the turtle, and also we want to revisit the situation with Bad Boy Records when he was being paid employee. You understand what I'm saying? They will always throw shit in there like that, but that's the government and that's how they do shit. So he know all the shit that we went through, because we revisit. I try to tell him, man, let's talk about it and make it right, do this and stuff like that. You know, he was never going to do the right thing. He had no plans on doing the right thing by nobody.
Did people like him? They must have had, did they have friends, like genuine friends?
Well, I think that he had a few genuine friends when he went to school with them. Corey Jacobs, what's his name? Chuck Bone. Sorry about that. Chuck Bone, Corey Jacobs, a few other guys that he went to school with, probably played football with them up there at St. Michael's and played sports with them. And then everybody else that he learned from the industry, I don't believe that they was his true friends. They probably grew to be friends, you know, after I left or something like that. You know, I don't really know. You know what I mean?
Because if someone said to me 3 years ago that he was involved in the 𝗗𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 murder and the Biggie murder and other things that's been getting said and done to him now, you wouldn't have believed it. You would have think it was a bit far-fetched conspiracy theories. But now, personally, I feel as if he got 𝗗𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 killed. I personally believe he was involved in the Biggie killing. Would you agree with that?
I think that he set up the atmosphere for both of those kids. He didn't have anything to do. He set up the atmosphere to bring that type of behavior that led to those kids' death. You know, I say this all the time.
That's crazy.
I don't really want to believe that he was that diabolical.
Yeah.
Behind Big being murdered.
Yeah, that is very hard to chew. It's hard for me to think that anybody want to unalive anybody. It's hard to believe that. So it's gonna be a part 2 to this, man. I got other things I gotta do, as you can see all the interruptions. But y'all stay tuned for part 2. And Gene is he's real, man. Gene is actually asking questions. He's answering questions only he can answer. I don't know about that. I don't know about Uncle Ron. He said he was a security guard. Maybe he did say for Puffy. But I assumed that he was with Jay-Z and Beyonce. But what y'all think, man? Y'all put y'all comments in and let me know, man, what y'all think. Was Uncle Ron a bodyguard for both? Probably both. I'm gonna get on up out of here. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.